of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Ricardo Guariglia. Please, Ambassador Varela, the floor is yours.
Muchas gracias, señora presidenta.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Secretaries, the Deputy Ministers, and I would like to thank also Ambassador Cavallari. Indeed, it is a great pleasure for me to be the 40-something speaker today. And my father, who one day, back in the day, he traveled to Switzerland. He told me that at the restaurant, you could put a coin in a machine and you could pick the music. It was a jukebox. But then if you put in 2 coins, you could instead obtain silence. And right now, if I had this magical jukebox, I would just put 2 coins in that machine. And I imagine that most of you will be agreeing with me at this time of the day. And our institute was established in 1966. Initially, this institution was a cultural agency, right? This institute, the Italian Latin American Institute, which established and celebrated this cultural bond existing between Italy, Latin America, and the Caribbean region. But over the last few years, under the guidance of Ambassador Cavallari, this has become a cooperation agency to facilitate exchanges between our different countries. And when we talk about exchanges and cooperation, of course, we're talking about cooperation with Italy, but with Europe more in general. But the ILA has made sure that our countries can engage in horizontal cooperation, and this has been very fruitful. For weeks now, we have been monitoring and following a program for landmine clearing in Peru. And we have joined forces with the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and we have discussed this within the taxation forum that I have the honor of chairing. All the projects then lead to tangible actions when we're very part of this. We're also always able to identify threats and face them, and this thanks to the relationship that exists between all of us. Today, we are in an emergency because of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We know that Mr. Tajani is not here with us because he had to travel to Israel. But here we have the deputy ministers and the staff of the Italian Foreign Ministry. And this goes to show that Latin America and the Caribbean are fundamental for Italy, just like Italy is fundamental for us. Thank you.
Prende ora la parola per le conclusioni.
Now the floor to the General Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Ambassador Ricardo Guariglia. Thank you. Thank you indeed. I'd like to congratulate you all for this second session, which has been extremely interesting. And it is absolutely clear now that the fight against organized crime is a crucial target for our all. Indeed, what also emerges is that there's strong cooperation between the relative Italian law enforcement agencies and those of Latin American and Caribbean countries. And when I was ambassador abroad, within the embassy, I had representatives of all the agencies that have participated in this session today and are here today. And this strong synergy between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Defense and of Internal Affairs pursue this strategic target together. The previous roundtable discussion concerning growing together was equally important, and numbers were mentioned in terms of the results of our bilateral and multilateral cooperation. The Italian government is working to foster the so-called growth diplomacy, and projecting our efforts towards Latin America and the Caribbean is a crucial piece of this growth-based diplomacy. All the priorities we have listed in the first phase of our conference during the morning and over lunch, which I tried to summarize, basically are interconnected. Let me recall the fight against climate change, food security, energy security, migrations, protecting the environment, growth. In general, these are all interlinked factors and linked with the fight against crime, because if we operate in those areas where security is insufficient, instability ensues, and we have to avoid all this and promote development and to make it possible for the diplomacy of growth to reach its target. At the end of this 11th Italy, Latin America and Caribbean conference, I'm very happy. I'm very satisfied. I believe I can express the perspective of our minister, who will be told about all the different phases of the conference. And through his chief of staff, he has been updated on our progress. He was in Israel and now is in Jordan. He apologizes to you, but he, of course, had to travel to and go to where the government has sent him. We've seen many foreign affairs ministry, many deputy ministers, high-level authorities have been here. But also thank you for the enthusiasm with which you all took the floor, expressed your opinions, and offer a veritable concert of ideas. I like this word, concertation and concert. The general conclusion, as has been said, and as I said before, I'd like to stress this. Somos más que pareja. We are more than a couple. We are truly a family. We work together. We want to build something together in the interest of the peoples of our countries. So I would like, on behalf, of course, of the minister, I'd like to express the gratitude for your participation. Italy, as was said once again around this table, feels that it is an unquestionable ally. We truly feel an ally beyond question, because we really feel that we can build together. This was the 11th conference, and this shows that there is a trail that we have been following. And let me add, this conference, today's the 11th, isn't a point of arrival, but the beginning of the work ahead of us that we need to further develop in all the fields we have mentioned. You can count on the commitment of the whole of the government, and please allow me to express this together with the two undersecretaries, because the target is, as I have explained. I'd like to thank IILA, President and General Secretary, for their participation and collaboration to the success of this event. And the cooperation they supply to the Italian government is always very significant. My manifold thanks. And let me just say that the conference is now over. Please enjoy Rome for those who are still staying here in our eternal city, by saying that, like the eternal city, our relationship is eternal. Thank you once again. Gracias, merci. Thank you. To use all your languages. Obrigado. And for our friend from Suriname, dank u wel. Thank you once again.